organization. The Kamba people have their own organization. The Mulembe nation have their own organization. And let me tell you, Yvonne, let people not pretend that communities don't sit together and talk the same language. God, in his own wisdom, created people with an identical language. And people tend to congregate around each other to discuss their issues. So when the Abagusi community invites me to address them in the United States, do I tell them I cannot meet you until you call the Kambas and you call the Maasais and you call the
Why
others?
not? Why not, Mr. Gachagua?
Why should
Why not meet them as a group of Kenyans, as nationalists, as patriots?
But I'm asking, I attend those meetings on invitation. You don't go to arrange people how to invite you. You own an invitation. If the Abagusi people say, come, first and foremost, I went to Baltimore, and the Abagusi people said, tomorrow is Sabbath day. Can you come and join us in church? I did. And when I was there in church, there was an interpreter. The preacher of the day was preaching in English, but there was an interpreter in Abagusi, because those people speak their language. And by the way, Yvonne, let nobody feel embarrassed about speaking the language. Even the preamble of the Constitution acknowledges the ethnic diversity of the Kenyan nation and why people must be proud of where they come from. And that is why you find the Abagusi are in a church in Baltimore, and there's an interpreter to interpret the sermon in the Kisii language. That is the nature of the Kenyan nation. Mr. And there's nothing Rigiji can do about it.
Mr. Gachagua, you are I imagine you think of yourself as a national leader.
Yes, I am.
You are the former deputy president of the entire Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
As a leader, you say, you get an invitation. But even after all of that, as a national leader, do you not think you have the influence to speak to people and say that I'd like to meet all of you as Kenyans, because in as much as people organize based on where they come from and the language they speak, that is
Kenyans.
fair. Mr. Gachagua.
Sorry.
In as much as people speak the languages they do and come from the regions that they do, but there are some common shared national problems that they would have. Why not organize them or congregate them as Kenyans and then listen to their collective issues, which you can then try to seek to address?
That's exactly what we did. I had two types of meetings. I had town hall meetings for all Kenyans across 4 communities. Then there were communities that invited me for meetings to discuss issues that are unique to those communities, because communities are not, they have their own unique issues that do not transcend across the country. And I want to ask you a question. I don't want to ask you, I don't want to ask you the question, but let me point out, last week William Ruto met the Abagusi community in State House. The Kambas were not there, the Luyas were not there. Nobody asked a question. Tomorrow.
Mr. Gachagua.
No, I'm asking.
Mr. Gachagua.
I'm just saying.
Allow me to interject.
Yeah.
I'm speaking with Mr. Gachagua tonight.
I know, I'm just giving
not
an
with
example.
President William Ruto.
I'm just giving an example.
Perhaps when we get to interview him,
I'm just giving an example that this thing happens everywhere. Tomorrow morning, the president is meeting 5,000 people from Kiambu. The people from Machakos are not there.
So because he does it, then that makes it okay?
Because they are coming to discuss issues that are unique to that region. Okay? So when I went to the United States, I had town hall meetings for all Kenyans put together, and they were full, packed, and we discussed issues to do with Kenya. On the sidelines, community-based organizations in the United States invited me to engage with them about their own issues, their own culture, their own traditions. There are things that do not transcend alongside all communities. When I went to Seattle, I was invited for the Gemi Festival. The Gemi Festival is a musical concert for the Kikuyu nation to dance and sing their songs that are unique to them. I would not have invited other people to come and join in the Gemi Festival, because those were Kikuyu songs, people celebrating their culture, their identity, and loving it and singing all the way. But there is no one time I refused to engage all Kenyans. In all my meetings, in all the 7 states I went, I had a good town hall meeting with Kenyans across the board.
All right. A member of the audience, across of those that you met at the United States, even put this very concern to you. I want us to watch this clip together. One of the ladies who was in the audience said that you are positioning yourself more as a tribal chief than a national leader. Mr. Gachagua, let's watch what she had to say. All right, we had a technical issue. We want to fix the sound and make sure that we can all hear that, both you, Mr. Gachagua, and those who are watching us at this moment. And I think she was referring to everything that had been happening with the young people in this country, and perhaps how you were addressing the various communities in there. Let's see if we can get that in just a moment. So let's we'll come back to that in a moment.
I hope you also play my reply as well.
Well, we're here, so we can hear your reply.
No, it's also good to see what I told her.
But now that, yes, we've seen that, but now that we're here, we're live with you, we will hear the response from you. Let's fix that clip and we'll come back to it in a moment. Now, you may be unapologetic about positioning yourself as a champion of regional interests, but as a person who started off as Kenya Kwanza, Kenya First, are you not concerned that you're now Mount Kenya First, Mount Kenya Kwanza?
I am a Kenyan and I champion the interests of Kenyans. But I do come from somewhere. And those people are Kenyans too. And their interests are also important. And doesn't mean that because I come from there, I should not articulate their interests. I must articulate their interests because I come from there. Much as I articulate the interests of all Kenyans, the people of that region are Kenyans too. And they have their interests, like all other Kenyans. And I'm not alone. All other leaders from other regions articulate the interests of where they come from. It only becomes an issue when the region I come from has issues they want articulated. I have had the Speaker of the National Assembly. I have had the Prime Cabinet Secretary championing the interests of the Western region. I've never had somebody tell them that that is tribal. I have had Aden Duale and the people from the northern Kenya articulating the interests of the people of those regions. And it is right. There is nothing wrong. I support it myself. I've never had anybody tell them it is wrong. You know, I have had people from the Lake region talking about their issues, about the issues of fish, about the issues of how to make sense and to make money out of Lake Victoria. I've never had anybody had an issue. Every region, Yvonne, has unique issues that sometimes do not reflect to other regions. So, and they need to be articulated by people of those regions.
Mr. Gachagua, are you Mount Kenya First?
I'm Kenya First, but I come from Mount Kenya. Because at the end of it all, Yvonne, today you are here interviewing me. When you leave here, you go back home. You are not going to stay here forever. You are here articulating national issues. You are here interviewing me. You are here doing a job. But when you finish your job, you go back home. Same with regard to Gachagua. I am here in Nairobi. I was in the United States articulating issues to do with this country. I'm here fighting for the interests of the Kenyan people. But on Saturday, I'll go to Amonyoro. And when I go to Amonyoro, I must listen to what the people of Amonyoro are saying because they too are Kenyans.
All right. I want us to, I think we've now sorted out that issue because that may be a narrative that does not necessarily relate with the young people or the Gen Z of this nation. Let's listen.
You need, Mheshimiwa, to start positioning yourself as a national leader, not as a tribal leader. And I know many people won't like what I'm saying, but it's the truth. The first mistake that has been done in this event is speaking Kikuyu. I watched a speech about you in Boston, and the speech was a good speech, but there's something you said that Kikuyus to economic, are more hardworking, I'm paraphrasing, economic, we've grown the country. But we have done that because we are a beneficiary of the system of Jomo Kenyatta.
Are you able to put my reply?
Please do that here live now.
I was very happy with that young girl. To start with, my forums were not a praise and worship session. I didn't want people to come and praise and worship me and agree with me 100%. I was very happy to have negative criticism and had an opportunity to explain to the young girl that when I speak to people, my work is to give them hope and to give them encouragement. When I met some Mount Kenya people in Boston, they are business people there, I had to affirm them and say what is their place in our growth of our economy.
What do you think is the place of the Mount Kenya people in the economy?
They are hardworking. I said you people are hardworking. You are industrious. You are central in the Kenyan economy. And I'm very happy that the same industry I see back home is what I see here in Boston. And you must continue with that spirit. Those people who I met in Boston, were from the Mount Kenya. I speak their language. I had no business speaking to them in English because I was in Boston. The fact that I was in Boston did not make me English. I was still Kikuyu. They were all Kikuyus. They had called me for a boozy in a traditional way because I'm an elder. And they said, we have an organization here from home. We want you to come as an elder. We give you mbuzi. And when I rose to speak to them, I spoke to them in our language. And I just talked to them about industry, about working hard. And I was very happy with what they are doing. And I told them even back at home, this community is hardworking. And it plays a very central role in the economic development of our country. I didn't say that others don't work hard. I didn't say others are not important. And Yvonne, even you are an anchor. When I speak to you as a leader, I must affirm you. I must say, Yvonne, you are a good presenter. I must encourage you to continue.
Well, it's not necessary, Mr. Gachagua, but be that as it may, I want us to, the affirmation is not necessary. But I think the question is, do you understand that that is a genuine view of young people who are calling themselves tribalists and leaderless? Your defense is well appreciated, but do you hear that the young people may not want this and may see you in this way?
What I told that young girl, if you had played my answer, is that her age mates back home are my fans. They understand me and they know me and they love me. Are
all of them your fans?
Many of them are my fans.
And the ones who are not your fans, how do you address the issue that they have with that?
All of them don't have to be my fans. I persuade the ones who want to be my fans, and the ones who are not willing to be my fans, I persuade them to be my fans.
Okay, so the ones who say, the young people who say you are tribalist, you are an ethnic extremist, you're saying their concerns don't mean anything to you?
I am not saying they are not. I am saying it's not 100% Gen Zs who think I'm tribal. Many of them think I am a great leader, I'm a nationalist. And that's when you come to my meetings, it's full of Gen Zs. And I actually give them a chance to speak. But that does not mean that girl has no right to speak. She has a right to have a contrary opinion. I'm a Democrat myself. I cannot force her to say that I'm a nationalist. If she thinks I'm not a nationalist, she's entitled to her own opinion.
Right. So
but I did draw her attention to the fact that Gen Zs back at home, are my people. They are my supporters because they understand me and they know that I'm not tribal. It's only that that narrative has been driven, and her being away and not knowing what is going on here in Kenya when she's in the States, she has bought that narrative. But I did persuade her that that is not the case.
Okay. So you believe the people of Mount Kenya are very central to the country's economy?
All Kenyans are central to the economic development of our country. But the people of Mount Kenya, like all other Kenyans, play an important role. And
you said central, because there's a difference between a central role and an important role. Not everybody can be at the center, right?
I'm saying central means that they are very, very, very instrumental in business. If you go wherever town you go in this country, they are there doing business with other Kenyans. And therefore they are central in that wherever town you go, if you go to Garissa, you find them there. If you go to Mombasa, you find them there. If you go to Malindi, you find them there. If you go to Loitoktok, you find there. And they live well with other Kenyans, and they do business with other Kenyans, and they are really appreciated by other Kenyans. So they do play a central role in Kenya's economic development, in that they are in every part of this country doing business.
All right. It is for this reason that some of your party members felt you should be impeached as deputy president, because they felt that your shareholder narrative is too divisive for the country. And let me just remind Kenyans that in the run-up to your impeachment, you were vocal about a concept that you called shareholding in government. You explained this quite a number of times on several occasions, where you believed or seemed to believe that development follows particular voting patterns. And you were very specific about how the Kenya Kwanza government should dole out goodies. I want us together to watch what you said about the shareholding narrative in government, and then we can seek some more understanding.
Hii serikali ni kampuni na ni ya shares. Si ndio? Ni ya shares. Kuna wenye kampuni, wale wako na shares mingi, kuna wale wako na chache, kuna wale hawana. Sasa nyinyi mliinvest kwa hii kampuni ya William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua. Sasa lazima mvune. Yule ambaye alipanda atafanya nini? Si mlipanda? Si mliamuka mapema? Mukasema mutaki kusikia mambo ya ile system na nini? Muka-invest, mukapanda, mukapalilia, mukaweka mbolea, mukamwagilia maji, wakati ya kuvuna ndio huu. Najua wengine wananikashifu ati mimi nasema ati wale walipanda wavune kwanza. Iko makosa? Iko makosa? Hata hao watavuna lakini wangoje. Si wale walipanda ndio wavune kwanza? Wakishavuna wavune, ile tabaki kidogo, wale wakupanda waingie, watafute huko nini, ile tapatikana wachukue, wakwende. Si yuko namna hiyo?
Mr. Gachagua, maybe you've never been given an opportunity. I want to do that now. Please explain to us this shareholding concept and how does it work?
Even this matter has been taken out of context. Government formation is a process. And a coalition government is formed based on an agreement. I sat down with William Ruto and on behalf of the mountain people, negotiated our expectation from his government. And he negotiated the votes he wanted from our region. And he did negotiate with me that he wanted 70% of our votes. And in exchange, he would give us 40% of the government. It was not written, it was a gentleman's agreement. He sat down with the people of Western Kenya. They were wiser than me. They demanded an agreement. He demanded 70% of their vote. They demanded 30% of government. He sat with Kingi from the coast, and Kingi demanded certain things that will be done when government is formed. I was simply following the honoring of that agreement, that what was promised and what was agreed on must be honored. And I was saying, we made an agreement that we are investing in this government, and this is our expectation. And Yvonne, it is not that it is anything that I was coming out from the blue. It was an agreement that was negotiated, and I was insisting that that agreement should be honored. Other people are not insisting on the honoring of that agreement. I was under a lot of pressure from the people I negotiated on their behalf, that what we agreed on should be honored. And that is when William Ruto turned against me, because he didn't want to honor what we had agreed. And luckily for me, and it's a mistake that I made that I have to live with, I didn't insist on a written agreement. It was a gentleman's agreement. Nevertheless, even a verbal agreement in law is acceptable.
Sorry, just so we understand, you say you negotiated on behalf of your people.
Yes.
What did you negotiate for?
Positions, development, roads, coffee reforms, tea reforms, guaranteed minimum return. We did economic charters with President William Ruto, 4 counties in Kenya. And for the people that I represented, because he came to me because he wanted votes from my region. That is the truth. It was not that because he just loved me or he was my friend. It was quid pro quo, Give me this, I give you this. And he said, Rigathi, I want 70% of votes from the mountain. Mm-hmm. Can you deliver that? I said, yes, I can deliver. And I delivered 87%. And I said, I expect the following. I negotiated ministries of interior, finance, agriculture, water, lands, attorney general, trade. I negotiated all those agreements. you know. And where we started having problems is when he started taking away what we had negotiated. He took away finance. I had negotiated finance, he gave to Professor Ndungu. He took it away and gave it to John Mbadi. I had negotiated interior, I had negotiated trade, I had negotiated that and that. Because Vaughan, and that is where many people probably fight like...
Although John Mbadi came after you.
No, I'm just saying along the way.
Okay.
That agreement still stands, whether I'm there or not. Because I negotiated on behalf of our people who voted.
Right.
And then they delivered. They gave you 7% of the votes. So they are not part of the agreement because the agreement was 70%.
So this was on behalf of the people of Mount Kenya?
Yes, yes, yes.
We don't hear much of the complaints from the people of Mount Kenya about whatever these agreements that were not made.
You wouldn't know. Why is there a rebellion in that mountain? That is the issue. It's only that I speak out. Other leaders don't speak out because they have been compromised. I speak out. And why do I speak out, Vaughan? Because I'm the one who entered the agreement on their behalf. I am the one who is taken to task, by the population. You came and promised us. You told us we vote for this man. We are going to have coffee reforms. We are going to have tea reforms. We are going to fight alcohol. We are going to do ABCD. We are going to improve the environment for business. Now, things have turned upside down. We are being overtaxed. We are being levied too many taxes. You misled us. So what I was doing is responding from the pressure from the people. On whose behalf I negotiated with William Ruto. But I took it up with him. Yeah,
but what you're saying, I suppose, is perhaps what we've always understood, that our political patterns and our voting patterns are tribal.
Let me tell you, Yvonne, it's not tribal. It's coalitions are coalitions.
No, but you said, when there was an agreement that was made with you on behalf of the people of Mount Kenya, with Amason Kingi on behalf of the people from his region. So you're making this tacit admission now as former Deputy President of the Republic and a party leader that our voting and our political patterns are based along tribal lines.
Coalitions are formed by regional blocks. Okay? And William Ruto sought me out and my people. He sought Kingi, he sought Wetangula and Musalia. He sought everybody else. And that's the nature of our politics for now.
Okay, all right. So some then say, and I want us to listen to this clip coming up, that you are simply renaming tribalism, and instead of using the word tribes, you call them shares and shareholding. Let's listen to you defending this again at a different occasion.
Niko hapo. Huyu Felix ako hapo. Rais mnamjua. Mimi mnanijua msimamo yangu.
Silence on myself.
Ya kwamba watoto wakiwa wengi kuna wale kwanza ya kuangaliwa, si mnajua? Sasa huyu Felix ako pale ndio mwenye kuunganisha mawaya. Mambo yetu tumepanga. Mambo iko sawa. Chakula iko jikoni karibu kuiva. Watoto ni wengi, chakula ni kidogo. Iko watoto ya nyumbani, iko ajirani, iko namna hiyo, na nyinyi mtulie. Chakula ikiiva, sisi ndio wenye kupakua, na watoto tunawajua kwa sura na kwa msimamo. Hatuwezi kuwa confused. Kuna mtu wajua watoto yake.
Mr. Gachagua, who gets to eat first and how much?
But I think you need to understand the concept of our politics. I was in a meeting in Nandi, and the Nandis were asking me, we voted for this government. We have our sons who have not been employed. We have expectations. You people promised us that when you form government, you will do this for us. You have not done it. My work as a leader is to assure them. That's what I was saying. Relax. We are still working on it. We know you. We know your support. We know you by name. We know you by face.
But you were creating rank. So, Mr. Gachagua, is it your belief today that the people who vote for a particular leader should be first in line for development projects, and the ones who don't vote for them do not get anything or get the scraps?
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I believe that
that's what you're saying in that clip.
Far from it. You are not interpreting the context. They were talking about placements. And I was saying, please, things are still being worked out. Relax. We know you. We know where you are.
So is placement based on those that vote?
Not necessarily.
Because it's the same thing you said. You asked for specific ministries.
But those
would it not be the person that is most qualified or merits that position? Or is it just basically tribe, the people that voted?
It is still meritocracy. It's still meritocracy, but there is regional balance. You know, there is a chance for every Kenyan.
All right, in that regional balance, how many ministries are you going to get per your agreement?
In terms of?
You mentioned that there was the Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Finance.
I negotiated for 8.
For 8,
yes, I
right?
Yeah.
In a cabinet of 22.
Yes.
Where would the regional balance if 8 out of the 22 come from one community? You've just talked of regional balance.
I negotiated with the president because of the vote that I was bringing in.
All right,
It was up to him to make the decision. Yeah.
Well, it was up to the both of you. Weren't you? President and deputy president are the ones who sit down and craft the government.
He is the appointing authority.
Oh, so now you're saying it's his issue to ensure regional balance and not yours.
Just
as long as you get your 8 out of 22.
It's still the same thing. When Raila Odinga came, he negotiated for 4 positions for him to support William Ruto.
I'm sitting with Mr. Gachagua.
No, but I am saying it is not that it is any different for anybody. It is what happens in this country. When William Ruto sought the support of Raila Odinga, he came and demanded for cabinet positions and 11 principal secretaries, and he was given for support. Even us, to give William Ruto support, we demanded certain things, and it was upon him to evaluate, take it or leave it, you know.
And now that you're out of government, is this a concept that you still believe in, Mr. Gachagua?
In terms of?
Shareholding?
I am not talking about shareholding in terms of being discriminatory. We are saying when we form a government, people must sit down and agree that if we are successful, yeah, we are willing to bring this number of votes here. This is our expectation from that administration. It happens all over the world. People must negotiate. And it's only that I was a tough negotiator, and why people thought probably I'm tribal or I am too much is because I was insisting to get what I negotiated for, and I was being shortchanged. And I was saying, no, I don't want to be shortchanged. I must get what I negotiated for, because on my part, I delivered what I promised.
Let's move to some more recent developments now, and back to your trip to the United States. Let's take a look at some of the other issues. While you were there, Mr. Gachagua, you made an allegation that President Ruto met Al-Shabaab leaders. That's a serious allegation, isn't it?
I didn't make the allegation. Here you are. Let me take you through. I'll take some time. It's not me. I was simply asking him to answer. Senator James Rich is the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee in the American Senate, tabled a bill in the Senate asking that the status of Kenya as a non-NATO ally be reviewed in view of the following allegations. Relations with China, that is one. Number 2, relations with Iran. Number 3, government of Kenya and key officials of Kenya with non-state armed groups and violent extremist organizations, including the Rapid Support Forces and Al-Shabaab, participation in the Belt and Road Initiative, and then blocked persons and foreign terrorist organizations, including such individuals and entities based in southern Sudan and Somalia. Again, extrajudicial killings and abductions. I'm not the one who came with these allegations. So when these allegations came and they were in the headline, Kenya is under investigations in the Senate. This is a bill, I've given it to you. President William Ruto replied and said the Americans have a problem with him because he has opened bilateral trade with China, which is good for the country. And that is why the Americans want to review their relationship with Kenya. So when I went to the next meeting, I said, fine, you have answered about China. What about the other allegations? You are being investigated in the country for working with Al-Shabaab, for working with RSF from Sudan, for extrajudicial killings, for abductions. The Americans want to know why. It is alleged there was a meeting in Mandera. Can you please answer? It is not me who came with this allegation. This matter is before the Senate.
Here is what, and I'm looking at this congressional record that you have shared.
Yes.
It talks about an assessment of Kenya as a financial safe haven for certain entities, including certain individuals.
Yes.
It doesn't name President William Ruto by name. You, on the other hand, are
Yes.
saying that he met Al-Shabaab
Yes, I did.
officials?
I
because
named him
this is
because
very different.
I named
Senator
him-
Risch, and in this
I'm
Congress,
saying-
does not talk about President William Ruto
I am
meeting.
saying
This
it's
was
talking,
your statement.
It's talking about Kenya.
It's talking about
and,
Kenya.
And its officials.
And those officials, according to you, are
Who
President
leads
William
Kenya?
Ruto?
Yes. Who leads Kenya? Who leads Kenya? And I am saying, I concluded it's William Ruto because I am private. I am private, and I've said it before.
Yeah.
On record, that President William Ruto has a working relationship with Hemeti, the leader of RSF. I have said that, and I have evidence. I'm the one who facilitated the meeting.
Okay. Sorry? You
I am
facilitated the meeting?
Yes, I did.
Between President William Ruto?
And Hemeti, on his request.
Why would you do that?
Because diplomatically, a president cannot invite a deputy to come and visit him. And Hemeti, at that time, was the deputy president of Sudan. So William Ruto called me as deputy president and had a letter for me to sign to invite Hemeti. And I went to pick him at the airport and delivered him to William Ruto and started with the discussion. So I have said...
So this was an official meeting?
Yes.
Right. And in what way does this official meeting then become something sinister?
I am saying it was official, in quotes, but they were discussing business and trade.
What did they discuss?
Business, gold. Gold. I've said it before.
You were at this meeting?
Yes, I was.
And you were comfortable with that sort of discussion happening?
Initially, I did not know the purpose of the meeting.
And once you did find out the purpose of the meeting, because you say you sat in there?
What would I have done? That was the president, he was my boss. I said, yeah.
And what do you intend to do about this now? Why should anybody believe you?
What can I do? I'm asking him to answer these questions.
That is different with Hemeti. You also talked about him meeting Al-Shabaab.
I am saying...
Where is that evidence? Because it is very different from this paper that you have presented here. Is different from stating that the president, that the president of the Republic of Kenya met Al-Shabaab leaders. Is that still your contention today, that he met Al-Shabaab leaders? And if so, Mr. Gachagua, where did they meet? What did they discuss? Because this is an allegation that you are making.
I am saying President William Ruto answered on the issue of China. He has a mouth. He can answer whether he met Al-Shabaab or he did not meet Al-Shabaab. Kipchumba Murkomen is not a spokesman for William Ruto. Just the way he answered. No, he answered. You know, Kipchumba Murkomen was answering me.
You alleged that, and now we would just want to understand from you. You have put the allegation.
I have put the allegation.
So would you want to provide that with facts? When and where did the President of the Republic meet Al-Shabaab leaders?
I am saying William Ruto can answer that. Did he meet them or he did not meet them?
Are you saying he met them?
The onus is on him.
No, the onus is on you. He who alleges must prove.
He's the one to ask me to prove, not you. Or you are not his advocate, are you?
I'm a Kenyan.
No, I know.
When you make an allegation, do you not expect...
But why did he answer the one on China?
No. When you make an allegation, do you want nobody to hold you account for what you allege?
Let me tell you, Yvonne.
And this is why we're asking you here now.
Let me tell you, Yvonne. This matter is under investigation by the Senate. Let me tell you what I'll
That's understood. I just want to understand from you. You say the president met Al-Shabaab leaders. When and where? And for what purpose?
What I have said, that this allegation was made by the Senate.
No, this allegation was made by you, Mr. Gachagua.
But the other details on top of this bill. I was in America. Every bill has attendant facts and figures.
Mr. Gachagua, when we have an opportunity to speak with the members of the Senate of the United States, we will pose the same question to them.
Yes, you will.
Tonight, I am speaking with you, who has himself said that the president has met leaders of Al-Shabaab.
What we'll not do,
so we're going to ask you...
We will not prejudice investigations by giving details of what we know. Even like RSIF, I have said I have a lot of information that is available to those who are investigating this matter.
Have you given all this information? Because this was a request that was given by the state authorities.
I was in America. I was in America.
You're here now.
I did many things in America. This matter is in the Senate of the United States. It's not an investigation in Kenya. And even when I was told I can talk about it in Kenya, I said, the DCI has not launched an investigation in this matter. If they did, I would give what I know, but they have not. I am not going to volunteer information to an organization that is not investigating a matter. This matter is under investigation by the American Senate.
Do you not believe...
If they require my input on what I know, especially on Sudan, I'm available.
Do you not believe that the Kenyan authorities would want to investigate this matter of a sitting president?
It's up to them. I'm not a part of the Kenyan authorities. If they want to investigate, they can go ahead and investigate. What I know is that the matter is under investigation by the Americans. And I'm saying William Ruto has a mouth. He can deny or confirm. Just the way he did about China, he also can reply to this one.
So why report this to the Americans and not Kenyans?
Yeah, because they are the ones who are investigating. The Kenyans are not investigating.
You said, again, you don't think Kenyans should investigate this matter? It is a grave allegation,
I am saying they should investigate, but are they investigating? But who will investigate William Ruto? The DCI? Who will investigate him? Who?
You don't think they're capable of conducting an investigation?
How can he investigate him? Extrajudicial killings and abductions have happened. Can he be investigated? And why are you not asking me about abductions and extrajudicial killings?
We will get
People
to
who have been killed here.
We will get to that, Mr. Gachagua. We have a long night tonight. Yeah. We will do all of these
so
wide-ranging
what I'm saying, Yvonne, you give investigation, you give information to an investigation that is ongoing. The Kenyan authorities are not investigating this matter, and then they are not going to investigate it because they cannot investigate it. He is the appointing authority. So the matter is dead as far as Kenya is concerned. Luckily for us, the matter is under investigation in the American Senate. And I believe it will see the light of the day. Yeah.
On that note, let's take a break. We have much, much more to talk about, including what's happening in the country, extrajudicials, like you say. We will have a state of the nation sort of assessment when we return here on The Explainer. Tonight, we're speaking with former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and party leader of DCP on a wide range of issues. Let's take a break.
Al-Shabaab. Some leaders in that area, the governor, the senator, and some MPs, were accusing me of having called the people of Madeira terrorists. Let me say very clearly, the people of Madeira are very innocent, and they have nothing to do with these accusations. The accusations are against the William Ruto, not the people of Madeira. The fact that the meeting is alleged to have taken place in Madeira does not make the people of Madeira party to any such meeting. And I have seen a concerted effort to try to draw a wedge between me and the people of Mandera and the people of northeastern Kenya. And let me take this opportunity to say that I have tremendous respect for that community. Those are very honorable people. And myself, I do business with people of the Somali community. And indeed, Yvonne, one day if you want to do business, the Somali people are very good people to do business with. Their word is like a banker's check. You don't even require a written agreement. I do business with them. Where I come from in the mountain, we live with the Somali people. In fact, in a place called Nyanyuki, that is Laikipia East constituency, the Kikuyu nation there elected a Somali as member of parliament when they are only 3% of the population. Here in Kamukoji in Nairobi, the Honorable Hassan has been elected by the Mount Kenya people for more than 3 times. We have a very good working relationship with the people of northeastern Kenya, and I don't want leaders who have an issue with me as they try to defend William Ruto to drag in the people of Mandera. Okay. The people of Mandera have nothing to do with this thing. Those are good people. In fact, they have borne the brunt of attacks for many years. And even as we speak today, half of Mandela is occupied by forces from Jubaland. You know? And I would have expected these leaders over the weekend, the governor, the senator, the MPs, who are making a lot of noise about Rigiji, to have defended the people of Mandera from the incursions by forces from Jubaland, instead of castigating Rigathi Gachagua. So I wanted to clarify that the allegations we have made against William Ruto, he is not from Mandera, he is not Somali, he is not Muslim. Let nobody drag in the people of Mandera, the people of northeastern Kenya, from our issues with William Ruto. They should leave us alone with William Ruto to have our own war. Yeah.
All right.
Waswahili wanajuana na vilemba.
Okay. You returned last Thursday.
Yes.
Earlier that week, your former party, UDA, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, and Raila Odinga's ODM had a joint parliamentary group meeting. And it was during this meeting that President William Ruto accused the houses, both houses of Parliament, of corruption. Now, having been a member of the executive yourself as Deputy President, do you share the President's views of corruption at the Senate and the National Assembly?
I share his views 100%, but he has no moral authority at all, absolutely none, to talk about corruption in Parliament, because he's the one who has corrupted Parliament, day in, day out. William Ruto pays Parliament for anything that he wants to happen. The finance bill, he paid members of Parliament 200,000 shillings. They passed the finance bill, they were in trouble from the public, and when things backfired, he turned around and threw them under the bus. My own impeachment, the one you are trying to take me through again here, although I underwent that impeachment, I didn't think it was necessary for us to go through it, had nothing to do with gross violation of the Constitution. It had nothing to do with issues that were raised there. Gladys Bose-Sholei told William Ruto in a public rally, you told us to get rid of Rigiji, we did. You had it. Members of Parliament were paid 500,000. Members of the Senate were paid 10 million shillings each to impeach me by William Ruto. He is the one who has taught Parliament to be corrupt. In fact, there's nothing William Ruto does without paying money to people. He cannot now throw these MPs under the bus. And I told these MPs, I remember telling them, this man, I know him, I've been his deputy. He's an expert in use and dump. And the day you lose favor with the public because of following him blindly, he'll abandon you in high noon. What has happened, Vaughan, because I want to tell these members of Parliament and put them into perspective. To start with, William Ruto was complaining not about people being bribed with the 10 million. He seemed agitated that the 10 million bribe that was given did not reach the members. That's what appeared to be disturbing him. He didn't have a problem with the corruption per se. He seemed pained that somebody has paid 10 million, and he was asking the members of Parliament, did you receive the money? And they were there saying, no, we did not receive, which means he was confirming that him and members of Parliament have a working relationship, and he was trying to find out whether this bribe reached those people. What has happened, Yvonne, is that William Ruto is in every scandal in this country, and I believe we are going to discuss SHA, we are going to discuss all those issues. And he's in trouble internationally. When I was in America, nobody wants to hear about him. You remember there's an organization that gave him the second position in the world as the second corrupt leader in the world. And he's trying to shift focus from himself and throw it to the members of Parliament. He's actually throwing them under the bus to the people of Kenya. He's trying to say there's too much corruption so that people can remove the focus from William Ruto and take it to the members of Parliament. That is what he's trying to do. And I told these members of Parliament, the minute this guy realizes that you are of no use to him and you are expendable, he'll throw you under the bus. Number two, he said he is going to form a multi-agency to deal with corruption. To start with, that is wrong because we have independent institutions to deal with corruption, EACC and the DPP. William Ruto cannot take over investigations because that is interfering with independent offices and is interfering with the constitutional commissions. But let me tell the members of Parliament and Senate what is happening. And they'll thank me one day. I know William Ruto like the back of my hand. I stayed with him. This is what is happening. Most of these senators and members of Parliament, except from Rift Valley, know that William Ruto is done his one term. And they know if they are in UDA, they will be sent packing. So they have been talking in bars, in social places, saying we are with Ruto to get what we can. Next year, we'll defect. They have been saying we are waiting for the last budget. Once we get our projects, we'll have to align with the people because if we go in UDA, we shall not be elected. William Ruto said he's a consumer of raw intelligence. He monitors all these MPs. You can ask me, I was his deputy. He has a file on each one of them. All this money he was bribing them, he has recordings. Ask me, I was his deputy. There is another senator who went to collect some money from some businessmen from Nakuru. I've even seen the video. You know, he has all these recordings for all these bribes, for all these things the MPs have been doing. William Ruto is a smart man. He knew one day these guys can shortchange him and they can abandon him. So he knows that next year there will be mass exodus. So this multi-agency team he has formed is to collect evidence and create files on all leaders in Kenya. And he'll call them one by one. I hear you want to leave UDA and go to DCP and go to Wiper. This is your file. Try. Next week you are in court. Same for governors, same for everybody. Why would William Ruto want to take over investigations? He said when he formed the government that he'll make sure the National Police Service is independent. He'll give it money. He'll make sure judiciary is independent. He'll make sure the DPP is independent. Today he is saying he wants to form a multi-agency team under the office of the president to deal with corruption. I can tell you, and I want to tell these members of parliament, you will have to stick with William Ruto to the end. You'll go home together, because the minute you try to move and abandon him, like it happened to Moi in the year 2002, he will have a file on all of you. So all those senators who took money during my impeachment, all those MPs who took money during my impeachment, all those MPs who took money for the finance bill, all those MPs who have been taking money from William Ruto and his cronies for various things in parliament, William Ruto has a file on each one of you, and none of you will be able to abandon him. For the money that you took, you have to stick with William Ruto up to the ballot. And you try, and you tell me, you have seen already, the EACC after William Ruto spoke. That is a script, you can see how good it is. The minute he spoke, the EACC said William Ruto has done that. That's done well. He says we are 4 governors now at the radar. And you see the governors at the radar, Kimani Wamatangi, because he doesn't agree with the Kimani Ichung'wah in Kiambu. So they are using that file to coerce him politically, you know. And what will happen now, this multi-agency team, it has been outlawed by the court, but he still formed it. They are going to create files to enable William Ruto to deal with people like ourselves, who don't agree with him, and to hold all those leaders who are with him, who may want to abandon him and go to another political party.
All right. So you are saying that both houses of parliament are not independent?
No, they are not independent.
Okay.
You saw, Yvonne, let me cut you short. You saw an MP speak in parliament. Said, Mr. President, you told us to pass the finance bill, we passed for you. You told us you want SHA, we were here until 10 p.m. You told us to do this, we were there. All those things, they don't do it on behalf of the people of Kenya. Mm-hmm. They do it for William Ruto, and he pays them for it. Of course, we must say there are few members of great integrity and who have a moral conscience who have refused to take money from William Ruto. And they are all his enemies. He is harassing them using KRA, he is harassing them using DCI, and I know using this multi-agency team. Okay. All those members who refuse to take money from him are going to be on his radar. All
right. Kenya Kwanza stood out for its thirst to control the Houses of Parliament.
Yes.
And I want to speak to you now as the person who held the position of Deputy President at the time. Didn't you, as the executive, and by you I mean yourself at the time as Deputy President, President William Ruto, you know, as the President, and the entire executive, did you not decide who should be Speaker of the National Assembly? Was that not part of the agreement?
No, we did. It was in the shareholding agreement.
Okay. Did you decide who should be Speaker of the Senate?
Yes, it was in the shareholding agreement.
Did you decide who should be Majority Leader for both houses?
It was decided after the election.
Did you also decide who should chair each of the committees?
Yes, it was.
In both houses?
It was.
Didn't you also cause members of the party and the alliance at that moment to attend meetings at State House to give them instructions on your agenda, what to vote for, how to vote?
Yes, we did.
And so the grand total of this was what? Control of the legislature by the executive?
It was
So why?
the intention.
What was the intention?
The intention was to push the government's legislative agenda.
Okay, so this was a push that came from the executive.
Yes.
Are you then now surprised that members of National Assembly and the Senate are speaking the language of the executive when you yourself are a part of the executive making these decisions, yes, where the member of the Speaker of the Senate, the Speaker of the National Assembly, all came from the party that you rode on to power?
I think it was a very good.
If you are saying today that we don't have independent houses of parliament, aren't you then responsible for that, because this was your doing with President William Ruto?
Yvonne, that's a very good observation. The intention was very noble. When we formed government, we had a manifesto, a great manifesto, bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Creating good business environment, lifting people from the bottom of the pyramid. We wanted a majority in parliament to help us push that agenda. Okay? Where I differed with William Ruto is when we abandoned our agenda, our manifesto, and he started pursuing personal agenda. The housing levy was not part of our agenda of forcing people to pay taxes to build houses.
All right. I want us to come back and we will go step by step and talk about the affordable housing levy for just a moment. Yes. And you talk about seeking to have a majority in the House to push government's agenda.
Yes, yes.
That's all well and good. The Speaker of the Senate and the Speaker of the National Assembly, their role is not to push government agenda. Their role is to be arbiters.
Their work was to be good arbiters,
right,
to regulate debate, and to protect the independence of the institution.
How would they do that if they were former party members and if they got those positions as part of an agreement for bringing votes to this administration? How would they be neutral?
It behoves upon a speaker when he assumes that position. Justin Bidan Muturi was nominated by TNA to be speaker in 2013 and Jubilee in 2017. But that man had an impeccable record. You never saw him in a public rally doing empowerment and singing praise and worship to President Uhuru Kenyatta. Justin Muturi regulated debate and allowed everybody to speak. I'm sorry, Speaker Wetangula has become a youth winger for President Ruto. He attends empowerment meetings. He goes to sing praises to William Ruto in public meetings. Tell me a single day you saw Justin Muturi in a public rally supporting Uhuru Kenyatta or campaigning for him. What dignity spells out is that once you get the position of speaker, because you must come from somewhere, you can't come from the moon, you can't come from the air, you must come from somewhere. So when a political party nominates you and you are elected as speaker, once you have assumed that position as the Speaker of the National Assembly and the Senate, you now rise above, partisan politics and become the arbiter of that house, unregulated, undignified. I have seen Wetangula allowing me to be discussed in Parliament without somebody moving a substantive motion. And in Parliament you cannot discuss an individual unless you move a substantive motion. In that Parliament, Wetangula does not allow members who don't support William Ruto to speak. He is very selective. In fact, he has really eroded the dignity of the National Assembly. From 1963, we are the lowest in terms of the speaker. I have seen him in public rallies singing praise and worship to William Ruto. I have seen him doing harambes for women and youth. That is the problem, that the two speakers have refused to rise above partisan politics and play their role as speakers of those institutions.
Kenyans have interpreted the war between the executive and both houses of parliament as a possible sign of disagreement between potential partners in high-level corruption. Do you see it that way?
Yes. In fact, all these things, all these fights you see between parliament and the executive is about corruption. Because William Ruto has made Kenya, State House is a crime scene. Kenya is a criminal enterprise as a country. So what has happened, Vaughan, I must tell you the truth. When William Ruto introduced money in Parliament for the impeachment, he paid a lot of money, he whetted the appetite of the MPs and the senators. 10 million. So these guys want money every day.
Did you counter that offer?
Yeah?
Did you counter that offer during your impeachment?
I did not. In fact, people came to me and said, Rigi, we like you, we love you, but we are being offered this. Can you give a counter offer? I said, no, I don't have the money. And even if I had, I don't think I believe in this. Just go ahead and do what you must do. Others came. In fact, there is an MP from the coast, a friend of mine, a great friend of mine. He came and showed me the messages William Ruto had sent him, threatening him to jail him if he doesn't sign for me. And he came and said, I have children, my brother, I am crying as I do this, but I've been forced. These are the messages. Another MP from South Rift, a good friend of mine, came and showed me the messages of threats and intimidation from William Ruto. In fact, Okia Omtata, that guy is a great man. When I sent word to him appealing not to participate in impeaching me, he said, I cannot impeach you. And the person I had sent, he asked, did he send you with a counter offer? He said, no. He said, I will not impeach him. Had he sent you with a counter offer, I would have impeached him because I don't like corruption. You know? What has happened is that William Ruto introduced money in Parliament. Of late, he has shifted focus to ODM and Raila Odinga. And he is spending a lot of his money now with ODM MPs. Now the MPs from Kenya Kwanza are feeling abandoned. And the money is not flowing as much as it was flowing. So they have decided to look for the money from other people. So when the ministers come, put the money here. When PSs come, put the money here. William Ruto, you started it all. Don't complain. This is your baby. You are the one who introduced high-level corruption in the National Assembly and in the Senate. You cannot turn around and condemn what you have started yourself. You are the one who told these MPs that every man and woman has a price. I heard him say it in his presence, that every man and woman has a price. So what has happened, Vaughan? Like the MPs from my backyard are in trouble. They cannot address any meeting unless they pay people. You know? This deputy president, he cannot address any meeting unless he puts people in a tent and gives them money. Now, William Ruto is not giving these MPs money anymore. They need to go to the ground and talk to people and they don't have money. So what do you expect them to do? Anytime a PS is called for a committee, they say you must give us money. Anytime the minister is called, give us money. So the ministers and PSs have gone to cry to the president. We are unable to do any work now in Parliament because anytime we go, there's too much extortion. What do we do? That is why the president was creating hell, because the ministers are going to him to tell him, we are unable to transact in Parliament because everybody is demanding money. But he is the one who started it. He is the one who introduced money as the method of transaction in the National Assembly and the Senate.
Do you think high-level corruption is an issue in the country?
It's a big issue. It's actually our biggest issue. In fact, when you took break, people are sending me messages asking, what is this Yvonne is asking you? Ask her, we want to discuss about corruption. Because this is what is ailing our country. And I can tell you, Yvonne, State House has become a crime scene. Last 2 weeks ago, 15,000 young people were there. They were each given 2,000 as a bribe so that they can say 2 term. Corruption is being practiced in the highest office in the land in broad daylight. The deputy president is carrying money with sacks, bribing women, bribing young people to say 2 term. And then the president is here pretending that he can fight corruption. Where does he start? When he was talking in that meeting, you know, after the meeting, he gave those MPs each 100,000. After complaining that they're asking for money for, and he doesn't want corruption, why was he giving them 100,000? Those MPs have salaries. Why was he giving him money? So what I'm saying is, and Yvonne, when we get to the right discussion, we must discuss where we are as a country. It's because against the advice of Uhuru Kenyatta and many people that we are going to elect William Ruto and he's a corrupt man, and we'll cry. We are crying. And I myself take blame because I ignored it. I thought it's propaganda. And corruption has become a way of life. Corruption is the modus operandi in our administration. and State House is a crime scene, and bribery is a major policy of this administration.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about, a promise that was made, when this administration came to power, about 39 days before the election. President Ruto, whom you served as running mate, promised the formation of a state capture inquiry in the country. You're on the record yourself as accusing former President Uhuru Kenyatta of state capture. This promise was made that it would be done within the first 30 days. You were DP within those 30 days. Those 30 days lapsed, and to date we still don't have a state capture inquiry.
It will not happen.
What changed yours and the President's mind on this?
Once we reached State House, William Ruto was no longer the same man we knew. The man changed. The man changed. And I can tell you for a fact, he changed. Before we were elected, he was in his home every week. Every week he was here taking tea up to midnight. Since he became president, he has never come back here. Even when we did not have issues for a year, we were quite free and friendly. He never came back here. He was too busy taking over and capturing the state. And when we get to the real business, I'll tell you how William Ruto has captured the state. So he could not agree to have a commission for state capture because he intended to do it himself. And he has perfected it and actually overdone it to a point that the country is almost crumbling, to a point where now children cannot go to school because there is no money for capitation, to a point where people now are paying money to ghost hospitals, to a point where public money is being stolen and given to the deputy president to go and bribe people in broad daylight without being ashamed. You know what is shocking me, Yvonne, is impunity. A president here is talking about corruption. His deputy every day is spending 10 million every day. Money that of course he has not earned, money that cannot come from his salary or his businesses, and everybody knows this is stolen money. And they are doing it with brazen impunity without caring what the people of Kenya are saying. So corruption has become a way of life. So I'm saying, William Ruto, please respect the people of Kenya. Don't talk about corruption again, because that is an insult. Because you are the one who is leading from the front. And you are the one who is setting the example to everybody. You are the one who has inducted members of parliament and senate into corruption. How can you then go ahead and condemn them that they are corrupt? And
you say the president is usurping the powers and the authority of bodies like the EACC and the DPP?
You saw the chairman of the EACC respond after the president spoke. That tells you, if the chairman of the EACC says the president has done well to allow us, it means then they are not independent. And if they allow, as they will, allow William Ruto to take over EACC and to take over the DPP office, what will happen is that we are going to see a lot of trumped-up charges against people who oppose William Ruto. Again, there is going to be a lot of blackmail to leaders to make political decisions.
Okay. I want to put it to you that perhaps this is something you're saying now that you are outside of government, and that perhaps part of the proof of EACC and the DPP doing the will of the executive was in fact proven in your case. Mr. Gachagua, shortly after the Kenya Kwanza came into office, the charges against you were dropped. The charges against then Cabinet Secretary in October 2022, Aisha Jumwa, there was a corruption case where she was accused allegedly of embezzling about 19 million shillings. There was charges against then Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi of attempted rape. All of those were dropped right after the election, right after you took office, right after assumption of office of these individuals. And so some would say that this is indeed proof of exactly what you're saying, that the EACC
I don't know about the cases of other people.
And the DPP were done in your favor. And so you are in fact a beneficiary of the executive usurping the authorities of these independent constitutional bodies.
Not true.
So are you saying this now because you are out of government and not a beneficiary?
In my case, not true, because what happened is that the fourth administration was doing what William Ruto is doing, okay? It was using the criminal justice system to punish those who are opposed to it. The fourth administration was unhappy that I was supporting William Ruto, yeah? And therefore they brought charges against me and there was no evidence. So once we came into office, the DPP, yeah, got to the DCI to swear an affidavit. It's on record in court and said we had nothing against this man. We were told to prosecute him. We had no evidence. Even if that matter proceeded, it would still have been dismissed by the courts, okay? What pains me, Yvonne, and I feel very sad, is at that time when we were being persecuted by the fourth administration, William Ruto saw that in his administration, never again will he allow the use of the criminal justice system to punish those opposed to him. Yeah? He gave that undertaking that he'll never allow. And politics will be done the conventional way, through persuasion and consensus and concurrence. The minute he became president, I don't know what happens to that state house. Somebody is elected, he's a good man. When he reaches there, you know, sometimes I even get very worried of being elected president. Somebody who was a reasonable person, somebody who was saying great things, somebody who was sensible, somebody who was for the rule of law, he becomes president and becomes a monster. William Ruto gave us an undertaking, in private and in public, that under his watch, in his leadership, he will never allow the use of the criminal justice system to pursue politics. That's exactly what he's doing, you know? And that's what I'm saying is, I don't believe he is the same person. You know, sometimes I think he's a double, you know? Because this man used to sit with me here with Pastor Dorcas, and we pray together. And the things he said he cannot do. Kwanzaa, he said in an interview, I will never allow anybody to punish my deputy. I will never allow anybody to lack respect for him. I will never allow anybody to do to my deputy what Uhuru Kenyatta has done to me. He not only did the same, but he went ahead to do what Uhuru Kenyatta never did to him, to pay people to throw him out of office. And this is the same man. So sometimes, I don't know whether he is the same person. Sometimes I get lost.
Why do you think, so you're saying the president punished you?
I'm saying what he had said he would never do. He not only did it, but went ahead to throw me out of office.
Why do you think he did that?
Because I could not agree to many things that he was doing. He had wanted a Mr. Yesa. He had wanted somebody to agree to corruption, somebody who can agree to killings of young people. I told him off. I told him no. And I said, I cannot agree.
All right, let's speak about some of the things that you know, are in the country right now,
yes,
and that you seemed to agree with. The Social Health Authority, SHA, something you were a big supporter of, you know, then, now appears to be suffering a series of scandals. At least the Ministry of Health is defending itself, is defending its record, saying there is no fraud at the Social Health Authority. You sat there when this was being mooted. What was the proposal? And do you think, in hindsight, that
initially
you know,
I supported.
Yeah. What was the idea that you supported?
We had committed.
Yeah.
We had committed in our manifesto to improve on NHIF and actually make it available to every Kenyan. And in fact, we promised to reduce the payments for ordinary people from 500 shillings to 300. We went ahead to promise that those who could not pay, who had no income at all, yeah, will be covered, you know, by the fund without having to make any contribution. Those are the things that we did. So when we came in, we got the former CS for Roads, Kamau, to come and chair the board of NHIF. And he started on a process of how to reform it and make it better. And proposals were done, and it was agreed they needed to improve the system at a cost of about 800 million. to make NHIF more responsive, to make it more efficient, to serve the people of Kenya. William Ruto put a team of advisors at State House who are working parallel from the ministers. And they came up with this thing called SHA. Yeah? And they said NHIF is bad, there was a lot of fraud, we must reform it and we must change it completely. And this thing was brought and we started interrogating it. Along the way, I started getting fears that this thing was a scheme to rip off the people of Kenya. Yeah? And they proposed that we create a new system that will cost 104 billion Kenya shillings. And I asked William Ruto, my brother, if the board of NHIF is saying they can reform this system at 800 million, why do we need a new system costing about 104 billion? He said, no, we will do it this way. This thing was forced. That's why you had an MP say, we pass SHA for you. This thing was pushed by William Ruto. This 104 billion, Yvonne, is pure theft of public funds. It's the biggest rip-off in the history of the independent Kenya. You know, this system does not exceed 1 billion shillings. 103 billion shillings had been stolen by William Ruto and company. You know, and that is why it is him, because you had the MP saying, we passed you a SHA. Okay? And that is why he was saying when he was in Sagana, explaining why we differed. Oh, did you ever hear Rigathi deferred the health system? Did you ever hear him defer the education system? Did you ever hear him talking about the housing program? I told him, give me a break. I cannot defend corruption. I said, Mr. President, excuse me, forgive me. I could not help you to defend SHA. This is outright theft of public funds. Now, after stealing 104 billion shillings, Duale and company now, the little money people have been deducted from their salaries, the little money that people are paying for SHA, this money they are sending to non-existent hospitals and stealing it. And this is the money that is doing empowerment programs by Mr. Soprano. This is the money that William Ruto is using to bribe people in State House. Where do you think this money is coming from? I heard him asking the governor of Mandera, not governor of Mandera. He was saying there is a governor who has paid 150 million. Where did he get it from? I want to pose you the question, Mr. William Ruto. This money you are bribing people. This one you have given Soprano to bribe people. Where are you getting it from? This is money for SHA. Now, Aden Duale is telling us, an abusing journalist, Yvonne, that we have shut down the hospitals. How do you shut down hospitals that do not exist? Please, these people, the impunity, the kind of contempt they have for the people of Kenya. A minister telling the people of Kenya, they have discovered that money is being paid to non-existent hospitals, ghost hospitals. And his reply is that, no, we have shut down those hospitals. Where is the money? What measures has he announced today? If these hospitals were non-existent, if these hospitals were not compliant, and they have been shut because they are not compliant, has he announced how we shall recover this money? I would have expected William Ruto, the new champion of fighting corruption in Kenya, to talk about this. Instead, he's only talking about 10 million, and his complaint, it has not reached the MPs who are his friends. That is his only concern, that 10 million was bribed, it did not reach MPs. William Ruto, why are you not speaking about this 10 billion? By today, in a country of the rule of law, Duale should be at home. You know?
What
and
for?
We are saying,
what for?
He should have been sacked. This is a scandal of unknown magnitude. You have seen today the website for SHA, where the records were, yeah, showing who has been paid, yeah, has been stepped down, so that you people do not interrogate these hospitals. Because what would have happened? You people are very imaginative. With the list they are showing who has been paid, you would have sent your correspondents all over the country to see whether the hospitals exist. And because they don't exist, yeah, that is why they have removed, those details from the website. so that Kenyans do not interrogate, they do not audit the theft of public funds.
And then there is also the affordable housing, again, something else that you touted. In fact, you were on record as telling everybody that this is something that you should pay up. What changed along the way?
Initially, when I supported this program,
yes.
You know, William Ruto is very convincing. He's a very convincing guy. And he's very deceptive. Extremely deceptive. He had convinced all of us that this housing program, affordable, was a good thing for Kenya. That it will create employment for our young people, that this program, we need slum upgrading, we need to dignify our people, blah, blah, blah. It sounded very nice. Only to realize later, it's nonsense.
At what point did you make this realization?
After 1 year. It's when I started seeing what's going on. To start with, when he forced people now to have the housing levy. Because the question people were asking me, and I went and asked him.
What was the idea for you in your mind with this?
Initially, we thought it's a genuine thing. Only to realize that it's about business. That William Ruto has seen a business opportunity to sell cement, to sell steel, and to sell iron sheets. Again, to partner with developers to make money. And for that program to succeed, it needed a source of money. So he had to create a housing levy so that the money is flowing. And this money has been put in Sidan Bank, a bank that he bought immediately we came into office. Okay? Sidan Bank is level 3, is tier 3. According to the central bank regulations, all money belonging to parastatals and governments must be put in tier 1. Tier 1 is Cooperative Bank, Equity, Barclays, those big banks. But he told central bank to allow Sidan to receive money from SHA and also money from housing. So that bank has grown, from a profit of 300 million in 1 year to 1.2 billion.
So I want to understand this. You're saying, so at what point did you realize SHA, according to you, wasn't the idea that you needed?
The first 1 year.
Housing in the first 1 year.
The first 1 year of our administration is where it started becoming very clear to me that this William Ruto was not a genuine man. He had conned us, he was deceptive, and he's a businessman, and he's not interested in the country.
And yet, Mr. Gachagua, you stayed and then got impeached, and it is only after your impeachment that you started to speak out about all of these things, about organizing meetings.
I spoke before.
So my question to you is, you say you are not a yes man, and that's why the president doesn't like you. Yes. You say you realized that, SHA and affordable housing had issues with all of these. Were you ever going to say some of these things before you were impeached?
Yes.
Would you have continued to serve in the administration of President William Ruto? I asked you about some of these things a little earlier. You said, well, what could I do? He was president. You could have resigned, Mr. Gachagua, if you have such grave issues.
I couldn't have resigned.
Why not?
The framers of the 2010 Constitution are very wise. Why did they want a president and a deputy elected? So that they can check each other. That's what I was doing. I was checking from inside until a point he couldn't stand it, and he decided to get rid of me. What happened?
Mr. Gachagua, you were not very successful with checking him.
No, I was. Let me tell you. Let me now.
Well, tell us.
That's why. That's why. I went to cabinet and opposed the finance bill of 2024. I did.
2023.
2024.
Okay.
I said no, and it was put on record. And he was mad with me. And I went in public meetings asking the MPs to listen to the ground. It was a way of checking. Because when you are deputy president and there's a finance bill, and when people ask me, what do you think about this finance bill? I say, listen to the ground. The people did not want it. I told the MPs, listen to the ground. And the president was mad with me. Finally, when it came to cabinet, I went and opposed the demolitions and evictions of Nairobi River. If you remember, it was one of the charges in the Senate against me. I opposed when I was deputy president. I did not oppose when I left office, Yvonne. I opposed when I was in office. And it was a charge of insubordinating the president because of saying no. Our manifesto was clear that we shall never carry out demolitions and evictions until we have settled the people.
Okay.
When the Gen Z protest came, Yvonne, I want to put it on record so that we are speaking from the same page. I opposed abductions and killings. And when the president insisted, and our kids were shot and killed on June 25th, 2024, on the 26th of June, as deputy president, I called a press conference in Mombasa and castigated President William Ruto and the director of National Intelligence Service for abductions and extrajudicial killings. I am not doing it because I'm outside, Yvonne. I was doing it from inside. And that is why the president now could not stand it anymore. In fact, it's after my press conference on June 26th is when he made a decision he must get rid of me. And it took him about 4 months. He started putting things into motion. And I told the president, I think it was on June 22nd, when I saw the operation order, what had been planned, the killings, the abductions, I went and I said, Mr. President, I am a parent, you are a parent. I have 2 young boys, you have young children. How can we kill these people simply because they are saying the finance bill is not acceptable? Why can't we listen to them? He said, my friend, you are in government, you do what we are saying. So the subsequent meeting for National Security Council, I was not invited because I would have opposed the operation. So when it happened, on June 25th, the president called a press conference at night. He did not invite me, and he said, this was treasonous, these are criminals, they'll pay for it. I was mad because I knew these children were innocent, and they were simply clamoring for their rights and the rights of the people of Kenya. And what happened, Yvonne, is that nature abhors vacuum. The minute the president captured parliament, the minute he compromised Raila Odinga, there was nobody else to speak for the people of Kenya. And since nature abhors vacuum, the Gen Z just came up, because that's the way nature operates, and they started speaking for the people of Kenya. So I made a decision. I flew to Mombasa. I called a press conference, and that marked the end of the relation between me and President William Ruto. We never spoke again. We just pretend we are speaking, but we never met one-to-one. We never spoke on telephone. We were speaking on messages until the day I left office. So you cannot say, Yvonne, that I spoke because I left. I started speaking. For 1 year, I was speaking from inside. And that's why he was accusing me. You know, he was telling me to defend Adani. I told him I will not. He says, go to the TV stations and defend the university model. I said, I will not, because the thing is not good. You know, I was in a funeral in Kitale, and the Senator for Kisii, Richard Oyonka, really attacked the government because of Adani. And I spoke last. I did not say anything. I talked about other things. I left. And the president's PA called me and called me all manner of names. Wewe ni mujinga sana, you are very stupid. You are deputy president, you spoke last. Somebody has attacked the government and you cannot defend. What kind of a deputy are you? I said, my friend, tell the president to call me and tell him I cannot defend corruption. Adani is corruption, I will not defend. Then he said, utatuona. The rest is history. Yvonne, I am a credible man, I'm a man of honor. And I was prepared to face the consequences of standing with what is right and what is true.
I want us to speak about those protests for a moment and the state of rule of law and order in the country. Since those protests, there have been the abductions, there have been the killings, and there's also now an attempt at charging some of those who are involved in the protests using terror charges in the terror charge sheet. What are your thoughts as to where we are now, the state of the nation now, following the protests, in terms of, you know, the state of the rule of law? There's been talk and questions of having dialogue at this point. What is your thought on the state of rule of law following, you know, everything we've seen with the protests in the country, and what the way forward or the way out of that impasse looks like?
Yvonne, I saw the president gazetting Katiba Day, you know, and I was flabbergasted as to how foolish William Ruto think the people of Kenya are. Katiba Day? He has violated the Constitution from the first chapter to the last one. Freedoms in the Bill of Rights have been taken away from the people of Kenya. These young people who were abducted, They were within their constitutional right to question government. Yet, and I've said many times, when the Gen Z started becoming very vocal, the president authorized the formation of a killer squad of 101 officers from the administration police who are seconded to the National Intelligence Service and given very high-skilled training in abductions, killings, and cover-up. And that is a squad that has caused havoc in this country. And it works under the National Intelligence Service. It was authorized by William Ruto. That is a squad that is responsible for gross violation of human rights. And what is sad, Yvonne, and this matter was raised with me in America, and I heard Akina Wetangula saying I went to talk bad about my country. I never talked bad about my country. I love my country. Kenya is a great country, and I told the people in America as much. But we have poor leadership. We have bad leaders. What is shocking, Yvonne, is after all this, a president who is elected by the people, a country with a constitution, a country that has a very strong Bill of Rights, can publicly issue orders for people to be shot in the leg and then taken to the hospital on their way to jail. It's a level of impunity. And I'm very happy that in the bill in the Senate in America, that issue has been raised, abductions and extrajudicial killings. Yeah? So what is happening again when we had the last protest and Sabasaba? The state took over the protest and sent criminal goons to beat people, burn and torch property, and stage manage attack of police stations and courts. It was done by police. And then arrested innocent young people and charged them with terrorism. You know, that court in Kahawa is a specialized court to deal with terrorism, a very serious crime that needs to protect our territorial integrity and make sure that the country is safe. But to make sure that these young people are intimidated and they have no voice and they will never again hold the government to account, they are charged with the terrorism. So as we speak, we are at the lowest in terms of violation of human rights. And that's where the Americans are having a great problem with us. And we have never reached where we are. And the situation is coming from bad to us. And it is laughable that the president, ahead of his address to the United Nations, he's going there to the United Nations General Assembly. He is trying to appease the international community because there is a lot of concern about extrajudicial killings and abductions. He is trying to hoodwink the international community by ordering Professor Makau Mutua to set up a team to compensate victims of extrajudicial killings and abductions.
That team has been formally constituted today.
Yeah.
What do you think of the role of that, compensating victims of protests and dating as far back?
I think it is good. I think we accept it's good to compensate people. But that should be the tail end. Yeah? We welcome compensation. But let's be decent. Let's not try to hoodwink the international community. Before you compensate victims, you must first accept that there were extrajudicial killings. The president should call a press conference and say, hey, my fellow Kenyans, I accept that there were extrajudicial killings and abductions. And this is wrong, and I apologize to the people of Kenya. And I say pole to the families and the people of Kenya. Number two, I have ordered the disbandment of the killer squad of 101 officers who have been abducting young children and killing Kenyans. Number three, I give an undertaking to the people of Kenya that under my presidency, never again shall we have abductions and extrajudicial killings. Number four, all those officers responsible for killing our young people and abducting them will be prosecuted. Finally, sad as it is, I accept that parents have suffered and they require some compensation. I therefore order a mechanism be put in place to compensate those families. And, Yvonne, government cannot compensate people it has killed. We must give it to another neutral body, like the Kenya National Human Rights Commission. Because what is happening is, we have a petition before the ICC. If government identifies these victims, then we will not have witness protection. These victims will not be able to give evidence against William Ruto and the government. So this is a scheme to get to know who are the possible and potential witnesses for cases of crimes against humanity that we are taking to The Hague. So we are saying, if William Ruto is genuine, he must do what I've told you. He must first call a press conference and own up to the killings and the abductions.
All right, before
Two, Yvonne, he must disband that killer squad that has been doing it.
Okay.
And then he must de-gazette that team, pass this responsibility and the funds to the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, which is neutral. Because how do you get people who killed your child are the same people who are coming to compensate you? Even in terms of the way you relate. You know, the same person who shot your child is the one saying, oh, Mama, I'm sorry we killed your son. Yeah? Here is 100,000 to compensate you. How does it work? Let us have an independent body, the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, to be able to do it.
I want to talk about, and to switch gears a little bit and, talk about some politics for a moment and maybe go back to your return from the United States. You've been having the, what you call united opposition. Mm. We didn't see your colleagues at the airport to welcome you back.
They were not supposed to come.
Okay.
This was, I was just coming home. Mm-hmm. And I think when Kipchumba Murkomen threatened to arrest me, my supporters decided to come to the airport to make sure that I'm safe. Mm. It was a family affair. Of course, the government organized to attack me, and those were policemen in civilian, accompanied with guns. They actually wanted to kill me at Pipeline. They took a big boulder and dropped it on my car. I escaped death by a whisker. I think they wanted to kill me, and what Murkomen should know, that if he had killed me, there will be no country. There will be a civil war. And I don't know whether they know what they are playing around with. This country, where it has reached, people should not have such jokes. Those are jokes that are not good. We have a country. We have a country, Yvonne. And myself, what I did, we were supposed to go through Jogoo Road all the way and greet people in Kamukunji. Yes. Me, I'm a very responsible leader. When I assessed the situation, and I realized that a lot of force had been mobilized, policemen in civilians with guns, accompanied by goons with knives and pangas and rocks, and a civilian aircraft with policemen was hovering in the air and coordinating with the civilian officers on the ground, giving them our movement. Like I wanted to pass through express highway. The police blocked me so that I go to where the trap had been set. When I analyzed the situation, I said, let's cancel going to Jogoo, because I don't want people to die in my name. Mm. I don't want women to be hurt. Even journalists, your colleagues, ask them, you were with them there, they were beaten, their cameras were taken, the money was taken from them, they were threatened with the knives. A lot of violence was meted against us, and it is a threat, by the way. Even I heard the minister say, no, we were not aware of their movement, yet he was saying 2 days before, we have credible intelligence, there will be violence. Of course, he had credible intelligence, there will be violence, because they are the ones who are organizing the violence. He was predicting the same violence that he is organizing. So what I'm saying is, when I was away, they were trying to say when Rigiji is out of the country is peaceful. But my team went to Maraga. They were attacked by police with guns and guns. Again, they went to Gilgil. They were attacked by police and gangs. They went to Subukia. The violence that we have seen against DCP and myself is being carried out by the state. And I must say today, because it's important, I cannot report William Ruto to the police because they are under him. I cannot report the police to themselves. I cannot report Murkomen to the DCI because he is under him. So in the situation that I face with my members, I can only report them to the people of Kenya. You know, sometimes I hear Ruto saying, oh, go and write a statement. We write a statement to who? How can you go to report William Ruto to the police? How can you go to report Kipchumba Murkomen to the police? You can only, what I can do in my position is just tell the people of Kenya what is happening.
The National Police Service is independent?
It's not independent,
it's
because
not
how can it be independent when Murkomen is telling them shoot to kill, when William Ruto is saying shoot in the leg? They are just pretending that they are independent. They are not. That guy called Douglas Kaja, he is from my home. And I told him the other day, you are a potential customer of ICC. Remember what happened to General Ali? William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen will use you. What is happening? I told him, Kaja, he's from my village. One of these days, you'll be in ICC. I want to tell these county commanders in Nairobi and elsewhere that we have set up a team to document all these violent activities. We have, like now what happened in Nairobi, we have documented it. The county commander, Nairobi, the sub-county commander, Embakasi, when we form government, they'll have to answer. Because why are they allowing police and goons to attack people? The county commander, Maraga, the sub-county commander, Kegumo, the sub-county commander, Gilgil, Subukia, we are documenting all these excesses. When this administration goes, and it will go, I want to assure you, there's a new administration. You will be held to account. So, and what happened in Central Police Station is a living example and testimony. The DIG Langat told people to torture Albert Ojwang. DIG has been absolved from blame. He's going back to work this week. The OCS, Central Police Station, the sergeant on duty, the corporal on duty, are facing murder charges. I want to use this opportunity tonight to talk to our police officers. I want to talk to you as a father, as a leader in this country. Please stop being misused by William Ruto and Murkomen to do unlawful things because you'll answer. I want to ask our policemen to always be guided by 4 documents in the pursuit, in the course of their duty. The Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Penal Code, Chapter 6.3, the Criminal Procedure Code, Cap 7.5, and the Evidence Act, Cap 8.0. With those 4 documents, you can hold your ground. And even if your senior tells you to do something that is not covered by those 4 documents, you can stand your ground.
Okay.
But I want to say, if the government has decided to stop the one-term movement, they want to assassinate Gachagua by using police in civilians and then blame it on goons, because I can see the pattern. What they have done, Yvonne, if you allow me, I have been attacked now 7 times. In November 2024, I was attacked by goons covered by police in Limuru. Up to today, nobody has ever been arrested. On 28th December, I was attacked by a police officer in Shamata. Nobody has ever been arrested. On 6th April, I was attacked by goons and police in Mweki, inside a PCA church. Nobody has ever been arrested. You know? Another day, I was attacked somewhere else. Now, I was attacked at the airport. What I can see, I was analyzing here with security experts yesterday, is that the government want to set up a trend where that Gachagua is always attacked by goons, so that one day, police in civilian can shoot him dead, and then say it's the goons, and then order an investigation to arrest the goons when he is dead. What I want to tell them is, and I want to be very cautious, I want to say, it's important I say, because I have seen the trend of what is happening. I want to tell William Ruto and Kipchumba Murkomen, please, don't ban this country. This is our country, we have no other.
Okay.
Let us be careful. Don't do stupid things.
Okay.
Yeah? Thinking that you are stopping the one-term movement, yeah? And create civil war in this country. Please
All right.
don't.
We will also talk about that one-term movement. in a moment, but there was something you said a little earlier, that when we form government, you were giving a message to the police. Let's talk about that now. In the United Kenya opposition, some of your supporters have been saying that of all the aspirants, you are best placed to run for president. Mr. Gachagua, can you confirm to us tonight if this is something that you are doing? Are you interested in running for president of the Republic of Kenya?
What a question, Yvonne. Am I interested? Why not? I am a candidate to be president of the Republic of Kenya. I am qualified. I have support. I am looking for more support. And I'll be on the ballot as a candidate for president.
Let's talk about you being on the ballot. How will that happen with your impeachment?
What do you mean? William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta had charges against him, crimes against humanity. In The Hague, he was elected as president.
They were not convicted. They were facing charges at the ICC.
Nobody has been convicted.
Do you think that's a fair comparison? The charges they were facing at the ICC.
What the Constitution of Kenya says. What the Constitution of Kenya says. What I just want to tell you what
yeah, for a moment. Can I ask the question?
Okay.
Okay. Do you think it's a fair comparison that they were facing charges at the ICC, facing charges? You, on the other hand, based on the laws of this country, faced charges at the Senate and were found guilty of some, not all, but enough to impeach you as deputy president.
John Weluke, the MP for Sirisia, was convicted and jailed for 74 years, okay, before the elections. Okay? He filed an appeal before the High Court. When the elections came, the law is very clear that the Constitution guarantees your right to file for elective office, even if you have been convicted, if you have not exhausted the remedies available in law. Okay? Regarding Gachagua has a matter before the High Court. It has not even been heard. It needs to go to the High Court, Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, until the Supreme Court says regarding Gachagua was impeached properly.
And
yeah?
If that happens, if
I'm
the Supreme
saying,
Court,
I'm saying if the Supreme,
and that's what I'm saying.
If it says yes,
if
yeah,
you go all the way,
that's what I'm saying.
And the Supreme Court says upholds your impeachment.
Yes, if it does, yes. If the Supreme Court opposes my impeachment, then I cannot run.
Okay.
It has not. The High Court has not. The Court of Appeal has not. Until that has happened, Rigathi Gachagua remains free to file for office. And I don't want to discuss matters before court, but even the judges will take judicial notice of what is going on and how this guy called Rigiji was impeached. You know, the things are there. I don't want. That's what I'm saying.
Because I don't want us to.
But you see, you are the one. You are the one who brought things that were before the Senate. Yeah. Those speeches were before the Senate.
No.
I was tried on the same issue, so you are trying me the second time.
No. Those speches were not as a result of the Senate. They were as a result of what you had said before.
They were there.
They were at the Senate.
You were trying me a second time.
Was I trying you a second time?
Because you were asking me to make comments on matters I've already made comments before.
No, we're holding you to account for statements that you make, Mr. Rigathi.
Before I exhaust all the remedies available to me by law, and you know the law is very good. It gives somebody enough remedies so that you get fairness. Fairness, let me tell you what they say in law. They say it is okay for a guilty person to be freed, but it's unacceptable for an innocent man to be jailed.
And we shall wait to see what the court say about that.
That's why there are four mechanisms.
Okay, I want us to leave it at that.
Yes.
And we wait to see what happens in the court of law and how far you take the process. But I want to hear your views on your other colleagues in the United Opposition who've also expressed interest in the top seat. What are your thoughts on Kalonzo Musyoka, the party leader of Wiper Democratic?
He is a good man. He's a good leader. And he has a capacity to lead this country. Yeah. If I'm not chosen to be the flag bearer for whatever reason, I would have no issue, absolutely none, in supporting him to be president.
What of Ms. Martha Karua?
Same. Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, Fred Matiang'i, Eugene Wamalwa are all competent and capable leaders who can give good leadership to this country. And when we agree, because we have agreed that along the way, all the contenders will have to sit down and agree on one to be our flag bearer. I pray and hope that I'll be one, because I think I have the drive and the strategies and the numbers. And knowing William Ruto, because I know him well, I think I'm the guy who is best suited to take this guy home.
Is unity possible?
So in case,
Is unity possible?
It's not.
Or will
it's
we
not
see everyone
possible.
pulling in their own direction?
It's a must. We have no choice. The people of Kenya have told us, in no uncertain time, they don't care who. They want one candidate to face William Ruto. We have a responsibility to restore this country. We have a responsibility to bring an end to extrajudicial killings and abductions. We have a responsibility to bring an end to corruption and misappropriation of public funds. And that can only happen when William Ruto is one term. And for that to happen, we need to produce one candidate to face him. Kenyans will not forgive any one of us, any one of us who plays around with that unity. And I can tell you, all of us have committed, and I will be persuading my colleagues that we publicly sign a pact with the people of Kenya, committing that all of us, each one of us will support whoever is picked, and none of us will go astray. So that whoever goes astray, will be a traitor to the Kenyan cause. So there will be unity, there will be one candidate, and I believe and I trust that candidate is the man seated opposite you tonight.
Let's talk about that election that would, the general election in 2027. We now have a fully constituted Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission. What are your thoughts around the commission? Are you confident that they have the capability and the capacity to run a free and fair process? And we'll come back and talk about the by-elections in a moment, but I just want your first thoughts on the commission, the new commission.
I am not very happy with the way it was picked, but nevertheless, it's in place.
What aren't you happy with?
Because there wasn't, I could see there was some consultation between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, who were on the same side, and therefore there was no concurrence with other people. But be as it may, the way I understand the Kenyan politics, and by the way, I'm a student of political science, and I've been around for a while in all these elections. I did my vast voting, I think, in 1979, and I participated in all these elections. And when electoral laws were changed such that votes are counted at the polling station, and the ruling by the Supreme Court in 2013 that polling station results are final, it made rigging of elections next to impossible. I want to assure the people of Kenya that nobody can steal our elections. And all you ask the IBC commissioners is to fast track and hasten voter registration and do good preparation for the general election and make sure that they make all the materials available and they put all the logistics that are required into place. And that is their role. The rest they leave it to Kenyans. Kenyans will wake up early and they will make a decisive decision. And I don't think anybody will interfere with the will of the people.
All right. Before the general election, there are some by-elections that are coming up. Is DCP planning to field candidates?
Yeah. DCP is a national party and will participate in our elections, including Banisa in Mandera.
Yeah.
All that talk you saw in Mandera was trying to discredit me and DCP in Banisa because our candidate, Adan Mohammed, is a leading candidate. And the people of Banisa want to elect a DCP candidate because they want somebody who can speak for them. Because UDA people are praise and worship choir members of William Ruto. And we have a candidate in Bere North. We'll have a candidate in Magarini. We'll have a candidate in Malava. We have several wards across the country. We have a constituency in Ubuja, in Siaya. We are going to have candidates in all those elections, and we are going to put up a hard fight. Yeah.
President Ruto has pushed back on your campaign, your one-term campaign, saying your only interest is to remove him from office, and that you're not offering an alternative.
Of course,
he's on record as saying, okay, so one term, then what? Do you think he raises a valid point about you actually offering an alternative beyond the slogan, one term?
Yvonne, did you expect William Ruto to give us a hug for wanting to remove him from office? Of course, he can't give us a hug. He knows one term is lethal. And he's complaining about sloganeering. He's calling it slogans. Mm-hmm. His people are trying slogans of 2 term. What we are saying is, Yvonne, if you go to hospital and you are feeling unwell, the doctor must do some diagnosis and decide what is the problem. And if they find you have a bacteria infection, and that bacteria has caused so many other problems, the doctor first fights with the bacteria so that you can deal with the other resultant issues. What we are saying, and we are very clear in our mind, is that where we are as a country, for abductions and extrajudicial killings to come to an end, William Ruto must leave office. For us to stop corruption and theft of public resources, William Ruto must leave office. We are saying for us to restore our economy and create a good environment for business, William Ruto must go home. We are saying for us to bring an end to state capture, William Ruto should not be in office. For us to restore the health system and do away with this SHA nonsense, he must be out of office. We are saying for us to restore our education system, bring back free primary education, make sure there is capitation, William Ruto must leave office. That is where the one-term thing comes from. That before we can even make the changes that we desire, the first thing is for him to exit. And that is why he's complaining and asking us for an alternative. We have very many alternatives. We have a very good program for healthcare, that we need to reform the NHIF the way it was and make sure that people have health care. We have a very good program to encourage agriculture, including in northern Kenya, in terms of irrigation. Yeah, we've got a very, very good program on how to create a conducive business environment for people to trade. We have got very good ideas on how to deal with the public debt. We have all those very good ideas, and they'll be coming up in our manifesto. But we are saying for all those things to happen, yeah, Ruto must leave the scene, and it is not our business to make him happy. By the way, we are not in the business of making him comfortable. We shouldn't do what he wants. Why does he want to set the agenda for us? And he is asking us to give us our plan. We are not going to give him. Yeah, and by the way, we had a good plan. We just need to improve it. If the plan we had, the one he had given us, was implemented, we will be in a good place. There are very many good plans, but they require implementation. But it's not for him to set agenda for us. It's not him to tell us what is our plan. It is not him to tell us what is our agenda. He has his agenda of stealing public funds. He has agenda of abducting children and killing them. Let him continue with what he's doing, as we have our own plan, and we'll implement it at the right time. But for us to achieve all those things, we must mobilize the people of Kenya to send him home.
Mr. Gachagua, as we wind up our conversation here, what do you say to Kenyans, some on social media even tonight, who in response to this interview that we've had, say that you are merely a bitter person whose only interest is to exercise revenge from a man who you say has punished you, that everything you're doing, including the movement that you've just spoken about, is not necessarily about the country, but it's about you getting your pound of flesh against your impeachment, against the president with whom you have now fallen out with, that this is just about revenge between two men.
Wow.
And is not the interests of the country and Kenyans at heart? I
don't think stopping abductions is revenge. I think it's the right thing. I don't think saying there should be no extrajudicial killings is revenge. I think it's humanity. I don't think stopping corruption is revenge. I think it's morality. I don't think stopping capturing of independent institutions is revenge. I think it's good governance. I am not interested in any revenge. I am interested in good governance. I'm interested in having a country that is working. I'm interested in having a happy population. I'm interested in having people going to hospital and getting drugs. I'm interested in having a country where children can access education. I don't think those things are anything to do with revenge. All I am saying is that for us that to happen, this man needs to exit. It's not revenge, it's necessity. It's necessity. It has nothing to do with revenge. I'm not a vengeful person, and I'm not interested, and I have nothing against William Ruto as a person, but I have a big problem with killing children. I have a big problem with corruption. I have a big problem with theft of public funds. Like now they want to buy Kenya Pipeline. You know, Yvonne, surely, this pipeline is worth 600 billion. They want to buy it for 100 billion. And that is Ruto and his people, you know? I mean, these are things that we cannot accept. How do you call that revenge? We are simply patriots, people who must stand out for the people of Kenya. Here in Rongai, Yvonne, the community gave 158 acres of land to the PCA church many years back to hold in trust for community, for public amenities. The PCA church have been doing it. William Ruto has gone there and without any public participation, without talking to the church, hived 40 acres to put up 2,000 units of affordable housing. And it's not even affordable housing, they are commercial houses by private developers. We cannot accept that. His own family, they have gone there, they want to put up a private stadium, one of his sons. We cannot accept that. How do you call that revenge? I am simply a courageous leader who is standing up for the people of Kenya. And not many people are courageous. Let me tell you, Yvonne, what I have undergone myself, the humiliation, the persecution, the brutal attacks by police and goons, not many people can stand it. You know, I'm a man of a kind, but I've decided to do it for my country. And not for my community, for my country. Because somebody must do it. Somebody must stand out and say, no, this is not acceptable. You know, and since now Raila was compromised, Parliament has been captured, Senate has been captured, some character somewhere must stand up and say, no, we must stand up for the people of Kenya. That is what I'm doing.
A closing statement from you, Mr. Gachagua?
Yeah.
Your closing thoughts?
I want to say, I have seen our sugar factories in Western Kenya, Nzoia, Mumias, Chemil. They have all been leased. People have been rendered redundancy, and the sugar industry has collapsed. Bomas of Kenya has been leased to some Asians, you know, and Bomas of Kenya is a cultural heritage. Now we are giving it to Asians to run our own culture. You know, everything is being leased. And when you ask William Ruto, he is saying, because of mismanagement, we must lease everything to people who can manage them properly for a profit. What I want to ask my brother William Ruto, if the solution to mismanagement is leasing, since you have mismanaged Kenya, please advertise for the leasing of Kenya for the next 2 years. We get some people to lease Kenya because you are saying that is a solution. And finally, let me say this, Yvonne, I want to thank you and the media for what you are doing for Kenya, and you must continue. I want to acknowledge our TikTokers. They have become a powerful tool of communication in this country. I saw the other day Kipchumba Murkomen threatening our TikTokers that they should not push what I say. The TikTokers don't push anything from anybody, they push content. If you are saying something that is sensible and something that they think the people of Kenya need to know, they do it. So I want to thank our influencers, our TikTokers, our media for education, and you must continue doing it, you know. And I want, like now, please find out, I am told the Kenya School of Government, yeah, they also want to listen to some people from Dutch to do some housing. That's a very important institution for our governance. So all these things, the media must stay on top of things. You must be patriotic and you must go out of your way to call out this government, because with the kind of impunity, unless the media brings out these things, both the normal media, the mainstream media, and the social media and the influencers, and working together with leaders like ourselves, I think we'll liberate our country, because we have a duty to preserve our country, because we have no other country than this one.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, for speaking with us on The Explainer tonight, for your time and your insights. We thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take a short break here on The Explainer. We're back with the day's sports news.